Kenyan experts on HIV and AIDS research have said it is very unlikely that Kenya will manage to wipe out AIDS in the next 15 years. This reaction followed the news in the world headlines today after a United Nations AIDS report indicated the world could wipe out the pandemic by the year 2030. But as KTN's Sharon Momanyi reports, the news has taken the world by storm after decades of fighting the condition that knows no race, continent or national borders.
Smart and scale up is faster by 2020, will be on track to end the epidemic by 2030, so that AIDS is no longer a public health threat.
It is a remark by UN AIDS Executive Director Michelle Sidibe that could be a source of hope in the global fight against HIV and AIDS, an epidemic that has so far cost almost 40 million lives and endless suffering to humanity. UN AIDS released a gap report on Wednesday indicating strides achieved and challenges still posed by the disease. The report, which comes ahead of the 20th International AIDS Conference to be held in Australia next week, shows a dramatic improvement in access to antiretroviral therapy by HIV-positive people. In 2010, only 5 million people worldwide got AIDS drugs. By 2012, the number rose to 10 million people and rose faster to 12.9 million people at the end of 2013.
We have a fragile 5-year window of opportunity, because what we do over the next 5 years will determine the next 15.
However, Dr. Simon Barasa Situma, a Kenyan researcher who has been working on a cure for the disease, says Kenya still has a long way to go in eradicating the disease.
Many of the infected people do not know they are infected. In fact, the UN report acknowledges this at some point, that about half of the infected population do not know their statuses. So, under such circumstances, it was impossible to say that you can project an eradication of the infection by 2030.
Challenges still abound in the largely progressive fight against AIDS. The report further indicating that AIDS deaths are currently at the lowest, having fallen by 35% since peaking in 2005. New HIV infections have fallen by 38% since 2001. It sounds too good to be true. Maybe it is not, but Dr. Situma says Kenya will need to be very strategic if she's ever to eradicate the disease.
If HIV is eradicated by radical cure, that is the only assurance we have that we will not be able to require donor funding for it again.
Eradicating the epidemic that for 30 years brought much of the world to its knees will be an unrivaled chance to bring the world back to its feet.
Although the UNAIDS report paints a bright future in the global fight against HIV and AIDS, the fight here in Kenya remains largely hindered by the fact that many Kenyans do not know their status, thus enhancing the spread of new infections. Sharon Momanyi, KTN, Nairobi.